Hi everybody, it's October, and one of the last things that we do in the garden around this time of year, getting towards Halloween, is we plant garlic. So I wanted to give you a quick little video to show you how you can plant it, and if you've never done it before, this should give you some ideas of how to get started. First thing you need, of course, is garlic. When you buy it, it'll come in a bulb, and the bulb is comprised of lots of little cloves, right? So you know this from cooking with it, but when you break it up, you'll have a bunch of different cloves in a bunch of different sizes. This is a garlic variety called Polish White, which is appropriate for me because I'm a Polak, and wanted to try this out. It's actually a new one for me. This varietal here is called Music, and I'm also doing one this year called Romanian. So there's lots of different varietals. The two different main types of garlic are soft neck and hard neck. The hard neck is my preferred garlic because it gives you an extra little bonus of sending up an edible flower stalk in the spring called the scape. And I suggest you do that. If you'd like to braid garlic or do fancy art with them, the soft neck garlics are the ones for that. But I'm going to plant hard neck garlic today. So you see that I broke up the garlic into cloves, and now you want to pick your best cloves for planting. And unlike some other plants like potatoes, for example, with potatoes it doesn't matter what size seed you use to grow with. With garlic it does. So for example, that little guy right there will grow a very small bulb of garlic, whereas this one here will grow a much larger garlic head. Now these are two different varietals, so within that variety I would definitely want to choose this one over this one. And the reason I like Music is because it always has nice big cloves. So you get nice big seeds to start with, which means your bulbs of garlic next summer are going to be much larger and easier to peel, which I like for cooking. So first thing you do, you get your garlic, and you can buy this at the grocery store. You don't need to order garlic online unless you want a specific varietal. I did order this online because I wanted these varietals to start with, because these will create a whole bulb of garlic, and then next summer you'll break those up again and you'll plant them and you'll replant them. So saving seed from your garlic, you're able to select bigger and bigger cloves, and so you get better and better garlic that's acclimated to your soil in your garden. So you want to start with good stuff because it just gives you a jump ahead. If you do buy garlic at the store, buy organic, because if it's not organic, it may have been sprayed with an anti-sprouting spray, and that's not going to give you anything you can grow, right? You want seed garlic, so you need organic garlic. And you should always buy organic anyway, because it's better for you. So let's get to planting. So you have your clove that you chose. This is the Polish White. It's a fairly good sized clove for this varietal. So I'm going to choose these nice big ones. And you want to put them root down. The roots grow out of this part of the garlic. This is the top, and this is the root. So you want it root down. And what I did is I'm starting with a raised garden bed here. I'm going to plant a much bigger planting on the farm, but I'm just doing this to show you. They're not super deeply rooted, so you can plant garlic in a raised bed, no problem. It's a good thing to end out your season with because it'll use up some of the nutrients that the rest of the plants didn't use. They're not super heavy feeders. You actually, in the springtime, you'll give them a little more nutrition, like a little fertilizer, but right now, you just want to get some nice roots down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the root side down. I'm just going to put it about 2 inches down into the ground, like that. And then you want to space them about 6 inches apart. So 6 inches is about your fist. Like, you know, it's a pretty good way, a garden way to size it. So you want to do something like that. That's about 6 inches. It's rough. It doesn't have to be exact. You know, nothing in garden is exact. And so you want to space it out just like that. There you go. Super easy. And then when you're done putting your planting in a row here, if you do multiple rows, you want to put the rows about 12 inches apart and 6 inches within the row. So if you went and bought seed, if you want to figure out how much seed you need to do this, about 1 pound of garlic will give you about 50 cloves, which is, you know, depending on the garlic varietal, but 50 to 75 cloves, which is a 50 or 75 bulbs of garlic. So depending on how much you want to eat, how much you want to pickle, how much you want to make into pesto, and then how much you need to save for the seed for next planting. So think about that when you're buying it. Maybe a pound or 2 is probably enough for most people. I bought 3 pounds. And so once you have it in just like this, I'm just going to give you a little demo just to give you the idea. So this isn't a finished job for me, but I'm just going to show you how to do it. So they're about 6 inches apart. All you have to do then is go back and just cover them up. And you want them completely underground but you don't want to bury them too deep. So 2 inches deep is about right. And then pat them down. And then the most important, so you don't want to see them anymore. You want them buried, but not so deep. And you want to do this before your ground freezes. In Oregon, we don't really have a hard freeze usually, but you definitely want to get this done a couple weeks before so they have a chance to get the roots down. And then the most important part is to mulch it. So garlic is going to be in the ground for a long time. You're not going to come back and harvest this until next summer. So mulching is great. It keeps them from freezing too hard right away, and also it'll keep the weeds off them. So I brought some mulch from my chicken coop here. As you can see, it's a little poopy, but if you have a chicken coop, the straw coming out of your chicken coop is perfect for mulching garlic. It's all got some fertilizer mixed in there, and the chickens have eaten all the weed seeds out of the straw already. So this straw has been de-weeded and fertilized for me by my chickens, so it's perfect for using as a mulch for garlic. So you just mulch it in like this. And of course, if I had a whole bed of this, I would just mulch the whole bed. I'd plant the whole bed. And you want to, mark your row so you know exactly what kind of variety it was. And it's always good to say, when you planted it, just to give you an idea. And then that's it. You walk away and you leave it. And next spring, you might want to pull the mulch back a little bit, give it a little bit of fish fertilizer or alfalfa meal or some little nitrogen to give it a little boost early spring, like March. And then by June, late June, depending on your varietal, you should have nice tall garlic. So, and you can harvest it. And when it starts to die back, that's when you'll know it's ready. But before that, and earlier in the summer, you'll get a nice scape. It'll send up a shoot, a nice hard stalk, which is why they call it hardneck garlic. And that is very edible. So you want to cut that off to encourage us to keep bulbing and eat that because it's delicious. And it's very garlicky and wonderful. It makes great pesto. So that's your first harvest. Now, I did want to mention, if you have what do you do with these little tiny cloves that you don't want to plant, right? So if you have little baby cloves, you can eat them, of course, just cook them up and eat them. Or you can plant them in a different spot, and they'll grow up, and then you just harvest them young. You harvest them. It's called green garlic. Chefs love green garlic, and it's great to cook with. So you don't have to wait until they go all the way through till next summer. You'll probably harvest them in early spring, like maybe March or April, and you'll have the first fresh baby garlics with their stalk. So that's the other way of using these, and it's really good. So that's my little tutorial. This is great to do in October, right before Halloween, to keep vampires out of your garden as well, because, the whole mythology around garlic scaring away demons or evil spirits or vampires is because garlic is probably one of the most medicinal things you can grow. If I had to pick one plant in my entire garden, herb garden, that is the most important for medicine, it would be garlic. It is incredibly antiviral, it's antimicrobial, it's antibacterial. It's just so delicious and easy to use as medicine and as food. And so, yeah, everyone grow garlic, eat it, and keep the vampires away, keep COVID-19 away, and stay healthy this winter. All right, have fun.